Hello and welcome to episode 31 of Tall Guy Talks Travel with Rick Doherty. Of course, I am your host, Rick Doherty. On today's show, my good friend Jillian will be joining me to talk about our visit to Oga's Cantina at Star Wars Galaxy's Edge in Disney's Hollywood Studios and our experience at Disney's After Hours Boo Bash at Magic Kingdom. The day this episode is first airing, it will be just about 2 weeks after the events. Oga's and Boo Bash are two rather expensive experiences at Disney, and sometimes it can be good to hear a number of opinions on whether it's worth the price tag. Later, since August 29th marked the 2-year anniversary of the opening of Star Wars Galaxy's Edge in Walt Disney World, I thought I would end this episode with my recap of the events of that day from my perspective. Not only did I enter the land with the first wave of people early in the morning, but I also took part in some of the offerings throughout the resort, which were designed to pull people away from Hollywood studios. It should be a fun way to remember a really fun day and a much simpler time. As many of you know, last week Sarah from Seattle, my wife Courtney, and I were at Disneyland for the better part of the week. It was Sarah's first time at Star Wars Galaxy's Edge on either coast, and it was the first time for all three of us in Avengers Campus at Disney's California Adventure. We ate at Lamplight Lounge, Blue Bayou, Pym Test Kitchen, and many other restaurants throughout the trip. The way Sarah and I like to yak on this show, I'm sure we will be talking about different elements of the trip for months, from dining reviews to episodes about individual lands and episodes about the entire trip. I wanted to give Sarah the chance to get her son ready for school and get some other things organized before we started those conversations. I can assure you they will be coming and you won't want to miss them. This was an emotional trip for all of us, returning to the happiest place on earth for the first time since the world shut down in 2020. You can see pictures, blogs, live streams, and videos not only from that Disneyland trip, but also from Walt Disney World, Universal Orlando Resort, and many other travel locations on my social media pages, facebook.com/eartothererick, twitter.com/rick_ear, instagram.com/rickear, the number 2 there, and twitter.com/tgtt podcast. I'm putting together a fall-themed giveaway, and those social media pages will be where you will be able to get more information on that when I decide exactly how I'm going to give away those items. The packages will include a face mask from the 2020 Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Orlando Resort that ended up not happening. I have a Haunted Mansion-themed popcorn bucket. There will be a lot more that doesn't even have anything to do with Halloween or fall, but I've collected over the past few months in theme parks. You can also contact me for a free, no-obligation quote on your next vacation at rick@eartothertravel.com, rick@eartothertravel.com, and 727-507-3123, 727-507-3123. I'm an authorized Disney vacation planner, and my services are always 100% free to you. I can help you with Disneyland, Walt Disney World, Universal Orlando Resort, Universal Hollywood, and a lot more. Feel free to contact me right now, and we can get you ready for your next trip. Right now, it's time to welcome Jillian to the show. How are you doing today, G?
Hi, Rick. I'm fine. How are you?
I am doing excellent. So, a few weeks ago, we did two separate things that we're going to discuss today. And that was, first, we went to Oga's Cantina at Star Wars Galaxy's Edge in Disney's Hollywood Studios. And then that night, we took advantage of Disney's After Hours Boo Bash at Magic Kingdom. We're going to talk about both of them. First, let's start with Oga's, because you decided to search around and find a reservation at Oga's Cantina because you had never done it before. Am I correct?
No, I have done it before, but I wanted to do it with you guys. So I was checking to make sure I could snag something.
Excellent. I feel very special that you wanted to share that experience with me. And then, of course, Scott, who has been on the show before as well, he came with us. So let's go over the drinks you got. The first one is the T16 Skyhopper. This is $16. It's Tito's handmade vodka, Bowls melon liqueur, kiwi, and half. So, how was it?
It was what I needed, which was alcohol. I was I was looking to get a little tips. I was looking to get a little tipsy. But the half and half was okay, but otherwise a good just melon drink, melon vodka drink, which I used to drink a lot of those in the early 2000s. But anyways, it did its job. It was I'll have it again.
So the half and half was a little bit of a weird texture to it. Like you didn't
Yeah, it's like
necessarily dig that.
it's like when they add avocado to drinks. It's got that creamy, like tasteless texture to it that's not necessary, but it was all right. It was still drinkable.
And my first drink was the Hyperdrive Punch It. I have gotten this a few times. It's Powerade Mountain Berry Blast, white cranberry juice, black cherry puree, and Sprite. This is $6 because I don't drink alcohol, unlike Jillian. And it was really good. I've had it before. I definitely would recommend it, especially if you have maybe kids in your party or if you're just not 100% into having alcohol at 11 o'clock in the morning, which was when our reservation was scheduled. I'm not judging anybody who happens to be on this episode or anything, but
I'm on vacation.
Right. When you're on vacation, time is just a number. So that perfectly makes sense. It is very refreshing. I would, like I said, recommend it for kids, for people who don't drink, or maybe you just want to spend $10 less on your drink and the alcohol isn't a huge part of it. Then go with this one. You also got the Bespin Fizz, which is
Yes.
$18, Bacardi Superior Rum, Yuzu Puree, pomegranate juice, white cranberry juice, and a cloud swirl. This is a really, really popular drink at Oga's Cantina. So, do you think it deserves to be that popular?
Yeah, I've had it several times. I think as tasty as it is, it's also very Instagrammable. It's also very, good for the social media pics and everything with the glitter in it and with the dry ice in the bottom that makes the glitter, swirl around by itself and everything. So the drink is like always like moving. It's like animated. So I think they did that on purpose, but it's like I said, it's very Instagrammable. But it is also an enjoyable drink.
And if you're paying $18 for a drink and you're not getting likes out of it, then what is the point? Then it's all just
Exactly.
wasted money.
Exactly.
And my second drink was the Black Spire Brew for $7. This was intriguing to me. I wasn't expecting to like it, but I wanted to get it because it's cold brew Joffrey's coffee, honey, falernum, passion fruit, and citrus. These things do not sound like they should go together at all. But it was refreshing. It was very, very tasty. I'm going to do a little spoiler alert for when I talk about going to Oga's Cantina the following week in Disneyland. I got it again. It was that good. The Black Spire Brew is surprisingly refreshing. It has coffee in it, so you're getting that caffeine at 11 o'clock in the morning with a big day going to Boo Bash later at night. I needed a little bit of caffeine. It definitely hit the spot. So I would recommend this one as well. The atmosphere at Oga's, however, when you went before, were they limiting capacity a little bit more than they are now?
No, it always seemed the same to me because if you remember, I didn't catch the whole after COVID reopening, part. I hadn't gone back until February of this year. So everything was very normal again by that time. The first time I went was September of 2019, which was right after they opened, right?
So that was insanity then.
Yeah. Well, no, it really wasn't. No, me and mom walked in, no reservation.
Huh.
That's what it blew my mind too. It was early September of 2019. They had just opened, and we walked right in there, and we didn't even wait in line very long. So it was a very good experience. And then my second time, honestly, was April of this year with some other friends, and it wasn't that bad then either. We had a reservation, and it was pretty much the same every time I've been.
Because the only time I had been previously was in March of this year. I was gifted a reservation from somebody who had it and then couldn't use it. I had my entire own table to myself. The
Nice.
bar seemed pretty empty. I was thinking that it appeared like that was basically what was happening at the time. I don't know if they have started to increase the capacity as things have, I don't want to say gone back to normal because that certainly hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, no.
But we shared the table with another party, and I don't feel like they got in our way at all. I don't think I ever felt unsafe. I think they were at the other side of the table, and we were at our side of the table, and we were both having a great time. I didn't hear their conversations. I didn't feel like if they coughed or sneezed, it was going to get on me. I thought we were at a pretty decent distance from people, even though Oga's Cantina is a tiny, tiny bar.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, but I feel the same way. Your sentiments exactly. I didn't feel crammed in there with like sardines with a bunch of other people.
Absolutely. So then we enjoyed a little bit more of Disney's Hollywood Studios. I hopped over to Epcot while you headed back to the hotel to get ready for Disney's After Hours Boo Bash. We went on a Friday night. It was a sold out event. Every ticket that could have been sold for the Boo Bash that night, because Scott, who went with us, tried to get a Boo Bash ticket and was not able to get one. So this was maximum capacity for a Boo Bash event. I want to state that for the record because the first thing I want to talk about is the crowds. It was a light crowd.
I can't think of the last time I'd been in a park when it was that empty. I'd never done one of these events before, but still, it's still been a very long time since I've seen the park that open, full of space and not people.
The longest wait I had was I did 20 minutes for Peter Pan, and in retrospect, I don't even really know why I did it, but there was some sort of wrestling thing that was happening that was taking Jillian's attention away from the event.
How dare you! I wanted to do Space Mountain. That's what it was. I wanted to do Space Mountain, and you didn't, so we split up. But yes, that did happen at the same time.
Right. There was some wrestling thing that was happening. We won't get into that. So, like, what's the dude's name?
CM Punk. CM Punk.
Okay, there you go. That happened the same day, so she was a little distracted on her phone for a little bit. But the longest wait I had was Peter Pan at 20 minutes. We walked on to Haunted Mansion. We walked on to Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. I mean, honestly, when we did Big Thunder, we didn't even slow down in the queue.
No.
Like, I think we were like the only people in the queue for a while. We did Pirates. That was essentially that was actually a walk on too. That was the first ride we did.
Yeah.
And we just cruised right through that queue.
Yeah,
Every ride was no wait at all, basically. Your wait for Space Mountain, what was that?
It was 10 minutes.
10 minutes for Space Mountain is the equivalent
it was a walk-on.
of nothing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So everything was basically like that the whole night. So first of all, the crowds are a big, big drawing point for this event. Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party did have more things happening at it, but it also had a lot more people. And truth be told, I felt that Disney was overselling that event for a few years now. This was not oversold. You could move around fairly freely.
I've never gotten to experience any of the extra, ticketed events that Disney puts on. So I had made a promise to myself that, I was going to do whatever events they were having this year, COVID restrictions or not, whatever, edited events they were having. And so, I vowed to myself that I'm going to do it. So I don't have any previous experience to go off of, but I enjoyed myself and it seemed like a fun, everything I had heard people talk about in the previous holiday parties before. It seemed the same atmosphere and most of the same stuff to me.
And something really, really cool that I definitely enjoyed, and maybe I'm just miserly and frugal and way, way too appreciative of free things. But we essentially, if you want to say rope dropped, yes, we did go to Pirates
Yes.
first, but we waited till the stroke of 9:30 so I could get 2 Diet Cokes and a Mickey bar.
Yes, that is the only reason we went on Pirates is how I feel, is because it wasn't 9:30 yet and you had asked them 3 times already and they were not going to give the free stuff up until 9:30 on the dot.
So this event comes with free drinks. That includes sodas or waters. It's free popcorn, free Mickey bars, free ice cream sandwiches, and you can just walk up and get them. We had a lot of popcorn that night. I
Yeah.
know I think I still have 2 or 3 Diet Cokes in the fridge.
You didn't bring them to California with you?
I don't think I could get it on the plane. But but that is definitely a big draw of this event. You go to these things and you end up spending, listen, it was August when we went to this.
Mhm.
It's still ridiculous hot in Florida in
Yeah.
August, even at a nighttime event that doesn't start until 9:30. It was hot.
Which I made sure to remind you of.
Yes, you did. And actually, this is a really funny story. So while we were at Hollywood Studios, which is not as hot as Animal Kingdom, but definitely is a hot theme park,
Yeah.
I was perspiring so much that Jillian brought a brand new Mickey shirt from Target that she picked up because I
Yes.
was perspiring too much. And I guess she didn't want to be seen with some
Oh.
sweaty loser at Boo Bash.
Oh,
So
you're so mean.
no, I absolutely appreciate it. But it was funny for 2 reasons. One, that you did it because you sort of have that like mom vibe that you always are like looking out for people. But the other reason was I saw all the dads in the same shirt
Yeah,
and
that
realized
was great.
all the dads who before they went to Disney were like, I'm not spending $35 on a Mickey shirt, so we're getting it at Target before we leave. But then to move on, there were also the character cavalcades. This has been something that has started with the reopening back in July of 2020. Instead of having parades that draw huge, huge crowds, they have smaller character cavalcades, hoping to sort of catch you off guard and not be on a specific schedule. Now, they do schedule out these cavalcades for you, but I guess there are so few people that they don't feel it is an issue. There's Mickey's Happy Halloween Cavalcade. Mickey Mouse and friends are dressed up and ready to celebrate Halloween. That was at 9:55 and 11:25. The Disney Villains Halloween Cavalcade, which is the villains show how it's good to be bad during their favorite time of the year at 10:30 p.m. and 11:45 p.m. I thought that one was really cool. The evil queen on the back of the float is always entertaining. I love Dr. Facilier, and he was a part of it. You don't see Dr. Facilier a whole lot in the parks, so I was excited about that. Jack's Nightmare Cavalcade, 10:40 and 11:55. Jack, Sally, and Oogie Boogie spread frightful tricks and treats in the streets. And this is a big deal about this Boo Bash because at Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, they would have meet and greets with Jack and Sally, and the wait would routinely be 2 hours or more. And when you're paying for an added ticket event to wait that long, that's a big chunk of that ticket price that you're essentially wasting. I once waited 2 hours to meet Jack and Sally at one of those events, and to have them just, yeah, it's not a meet and greet, but to have them just float right by you about 10, 15 feet away from you, you get really good pictures, you get to see them. I think this is a much better option, honestly. Maleficent's Fiery Prowl. The Maleficent dragon lights up the night as she creeps down the street. That's at 10:50 and 12:05. I guess we actually didn't see that one.
I was just gonna say, did we miss that? Because I didn't see the fire-breathing dragon.
At 12:05, we had done
Haunted
Haunted
Mansion.
Mansion, And we had seen the woman who sits outside and is almost like an improv comedian who plays a character that has passed away, and
She's
she
ghost.
was awesome. She was
I'm
awesome.
She was, and I'm still really mad because my Instagram glitched and I had gotten the entire video of her talking to you, and my Instagram glitched and deleted the whole video from my Instagram stories, and I'm still really mad at it because I didn't even get a picture of her because I was taking the video.
Okay, I'll send you the pictures that I got, but that is unfortunate because she was really, really funny.
Yeah, she was great.
The whole story that she had was awesome. I really, really enjoyed that. And the Cadaver Dans Barbershop Quartet. This is the Dapper Dans, but they were in Frontierland singing Frontier-style songs. And, of course, they were made up to look also dead. So that's a recurring happy theme that was at the event. But, no, and it is Disney, so it's all done in that very not-so-scary vibe. That was cool and enjoyed that. There were treat locations where you could do your trick-or-treating. We hit up a couple of them. I don't think that's a huge draw because, you know, honestly, the amount of candy you get isn't really worth all that much, but it is fun to sort of stop in and take advantage of that.
Yeah, my candy drawer at work is full now, so I'm satisfied.
And I also picked up the Apple Ginger Dale frozen drink, one of the specialty food and beverage items available for purchase, but only during the event. And this was another thing I tried to get a couple minutes before the event started, and they were not having it.
You were brutally rebuffed.
I tell you what, they want to make sure that they're only giving these things to the people who pay for the event.
But hey, we had our ID bands.
We did have our ID. And I went through this event like Wayne and Garth in Wayne's World 2, showing my ID badge to absolutely everybody who could possibly want to see it. We got on the monorail to leave at like 1 o'clock in the morning, and I was showing the cast members at the monorail. I'm like, we were allowed to be here, I swear. So
we were as obnoxious as we could be.
Yes, we were. Well, when one of us started drinking at 11 o'clock in the morning, what do you expect?
All right.
Anyway,
well, they didn't have it at Boo Bash. What was I supposed to do?
Absolutely. And the Apple Ginger Dale frozen drink was frozen apple cider. See, you forgot I was talking about that. Mixed with ginger ale and topped with whipped cream and Twix cookie bars.
That got you, though. The cookies chopped up in the drink.
It did, because I was trying to drink it through the straw, and that just wasn't happening. Just get a spoon if you're going to get this drink. Just get the spoon at the beginning. It'll make it just a whole lot easier on you. So, experiencing a Disney After Hours event for the first time in your extensive Disney-going life, what did you think about it overall? What was your general vibe, and did you find it worth the price, which is not an insignificant price?
Yeah, you are right. It's not an insignificant price. But I still do think it was worth my time. I'd have to say the only tiny complaint that I have is that I don't think it was long enough. And I understand it's an after hours event, so what can you do about that? You can't go till like 4 a.m. But I feel like we needed more time to run around and do stupid stuff and laugh. But I do think it was worth the event, and I was actually thinking about getting another ticket and going again.
Well, that's about as good of an endorsement as possible. And one thing I would like to let everybody know as well is we got to check out the Happily Ever After fireworks because the event doesn't start until 9:30. They still have the regular Happily Ever After fireworks, which will be changing later this month into the new fireworks for the 50th anniversary. But we got to experience the fireworks and then go do the event, which was a nice little change of pace.
Yeah, I think it was a good start.
Well, I tell you what, Jillian, thank you so much, first of all, for enjoying these things with me, but then for coming on to talk about them. I really appreciate it.
No problem, bestie.
Aw, thank you. Jillian calls me her Twitter bestie because not only do we both love theme parks, but we really bonded over a love of a lot of the same music, especially Everclear and Alanis Morissette. We're definitely products of the mid 90s. Just a reminder, I'm an authorized Disney vacation planner with Ear to There Travel. My services are always 100% free to you. For a free, no obligation quote on a Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Universal Orlando Resort, or any other type of vacation, email me at rick@eartotheretravel.com or call 727-507-3123. Now, as promised, I wanted to talk about the opening of Star Wars Galaxy's Edge here at Disney's Hollywood Studios in Walt Disney World. The 2-year anniversary of that day was just this past Sunday. Even though I had taken part in an annual pass holder preview of the land the previous week, I thought it would be really fun to be a part of the excitement of the official opening. Disney also had set up some other experiences in other parks to try to pull people away from Hollywood Studios that day. Because of that, it really was a fun day. So I didn't know exactly how early they were going to let people start getting into the park for the day, so I got to the Orlando area around 12:30 in the morning. I would check on whether people were being let into the parking lot, and then I would drive to a Wawa for a soda. I would then check back a little later and then head to a parking lot to sit for a few minutes and read. Periodically, I would check social media for information. Finally, people were ordering coffee from the McDonald's on property near the All-Star Resorts. A bunch of us gathered in that parking lot until I saw on Twitter that Disney was allowing cars into the Hollywood Studios parking lot. I rolled down my window, yelled to everyone, and we made our way to the park. That morning, they were only going to allow people to enter Galaxy's Edge through the Grand Avenue entrance near Muppets 3D. We were really crammed in like sardines, waiting to be allowed onto the Planet of Batuu. Honestly, it's a little weird thinking about that now. It was just the kind of thing we accepted and even anticipated at the time. It was still dark as they escorted the crowd through the gate. That was when we were greeted by a row of cast members cheering for us. This was awesome. These were cast members who work in Galaxy's Edge and cast members and Imagineers who worked on Galaxy's Edge. It was very emotional watching them see all of their hard work materialize in this moment when their creation was unveiled to the world. We clapped for them and they clapped for us. Even Chewbacca and Rey were standing on the pedestal by an X-Wing to welcome us. There are times when I'm reminded the reasons why we all love theme parks so much. That was certainly one of them. Even though my intention wasn't to ride anything, the crowd was basically funneled onto Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run. I decided to ride it and I was off in about half an hour, which was pretty impressive considering the number of people there. By the time I got off of the ride, the listed waiting time was 300 minutes. After ordering a blue milk, getting selfies with Rey and Chewie, I decided that I would let other people enjoy themselves at Black Spire Outpost. On that day, they were capping capacity at Galaxy's Edge, so when I left, it allowed somebody else the opportunity to enter. I thought it was only fair since I got to be there for more than 5 hours during the AP preview, and I had a lot more I wanted to accomplish on the day. Next, I hopped over to Disney's Animal Kingdom because they had 2 very special things going on that day as a way to balance out people throughout the parks. The most infamous now is the Simba pass holder magnets. I got into line to get my Simba magnet, and later we saw them on eBay for upwards of $200. I can assure you I didn't try to take advantage of anybody. Mine's still on the refrigerator door as I speak to you. What really got me excited at Animal Kingdom was the special meet and greet with Tarzan and Jane. Those 2 characters hadn't been out in the parks for a while, and it was a big kick to get the chance to meet with them. In line, I remember hearing people talking about how only an idiot would go to Hollywood Studios on that day for Galaxy's Edge's opening. I had to laugh knowing that I had already done it and left for the morning, and it really wasn't that big of a deal. as far as being an inconvenience for me. I also strolled around Animal Kingdom to meet Goofy and ride Dinosaur with an entire car to myself. It's hard to describe how much Star Wars really pulled people away from the other parks that morning. After DAK, I got back in my car to go to Epcot. There was also a special meet and greet at Epcot with Winnie the Pooh returning to Christopher Robin's bedroom in the UK pavilion. It was actually so popular and well received that Disney brought back the meet and greet on a regular basis before the park shut down for the pandemic. The main draw at Epcot, however, was how early the park started the 2019 Food and Wine Festival. With the festival starting in mid-July the past 2 years, it's actually hard to imagine how early this felt for what is probably the park's most popular festival. At the time, people joked that Epcot would become a year-round festival, and that has basically happened with only 10 days separating Flower and Garden and Food and Wine in 2021. With the start of Food and Wine, I was able to pick up my Minnie Mouse pass holder magnet, and I ate the Belgian waffles and the warm Irish cheddar and stout dip. I also rode Mission Space, Test Track, Grand Fiesta Tour, Frozen Ever After, and Spaceship Earth in a mostly empty park. While everything that happened that day was extremely fun, nothing will top watching the sun rise on Batuu that first morning. The electricity of all of these excited fans was palpable. There was a real sense of community in the mass of people there that day. We were all there to share in our love for Star Wars and Disney theme parks. I feel some of those vibes are gradually returning, but we lost them for a little while. Sometimes it's important to have the experiences that remind us that we all love the same things. This fan base has given me some of my closest and dearest friends, and I always want to make sure that I am not taking that for granted. Thank you so much for joining me for episode 31 of Tall Guy Talks Travel with Rick Doherty. I'm about 90% sure that Sarah from Seattle will be joining us next Thursday to cover some aspects of our recent Disneyland vacation. We have to share all of what happened at Walt's original park. I will probably also bring on my wife Courtney for a dining review from one of our many outstanding meals from that trip. Until then, have a great week.